And you know, we'll be hearing from her in just a little bit. So who's committed to not only taking away the blur of their own lives, but being the inspiration and finding more lives that we can remove that blur? You guys with me? So here's the cool part. Purium really makes it easy to feel good about what you're doing. If you feel good about what you're doing, there's this clarity about your purpose, this clarity, and there's no shame in your game. I'm gonna say it again. When you have this clarity about your purpose, there is no shame in your game. The people who aren't ready for Purium, it's really important. I want you guys to think about this, and you might have seen it in my Facebook post. The way that other people react to you is a reflection of what's happening inside of them. And the way that you react to them is a reflection of what's happening inside of you. So if someone rejects Purium and you get upset, you look desperate. And that isn't a good look. If someone rejects Purium, you have to think of them like that lion who's got a thorn in his paw. Oh, the more you reject it, the more I think you really need it. So maybe I'm gonna double down on my persistency and tone down my energy until I meet you where you are so I can lead you here. So Purium is gonna create that clarity in your purpose, and so there could be no shame in your game if you know that what you're doing is the right thing and you're doing it for the right reason. Who could ever be ashamed of that? Okay? So, we have this concept that we're better together. And I truly believe that having an event like this, like being together physically, is really important. Isn't it? Don't you guys feel it?
So important. Vital.
But the reason we're here together is because we were already aligned long before we came to this building. You know what I mean? We were already together long before we came into this building. So I'm going to address a subject that some of you will find uncomfortable, and I apologize for that. But I think it's something that we need to talk about, okay? And that is, what does alignment with Purium look like? What does alignment with Purium look like? What does any partnership look like? Well, Inc. magazine once wrote an article that said all partnerships ultimately fail. And it scared me because me and Amy are in a partnership. We run this company together. We're equal partners in this company. And when I read it, it actually inspired me because it said the reason why partnerships fail is because one of the partners works harder than the other and then dismisses the value of the other, and then the other person stops working because the other person says, I could do this better than you. And then next thing you know, the person who's doing more work resents the person who they wanted to do the work for in the first place. And so it just becomes this conflict. Well, me and Amy have the perfect relationship because we're both trying to be the person working harder. And that's what makes a relationship work. And we each have a very specific lane. I'm formulation, education, inspiration. She's execution, administration. You know, she's the one to make sure your paychecks get sent out. I've seen her stay up till like middle of the night making sure that every little dot can get and every T crossed so that this business runs that way. And that is a perfect partnership. And we believe we have a perfect partnership with you, you know, and we're going to get more into this later, but the job of Purium is to create an environment for you to thrive, right? And your job is to learn to thrive within that environment. So you learn to use the tools, to learn to use that chart, and to find your purpose. So I'm going to ask you a question. How many people in here primarily focus on, let's say, pregnant and nursing moms or children? How many people, that's your area of expertise? How many people focus on athletes, on people who work out? Okay? How many people focus on weight loss? People who need to lose weight. Okay, how many people are helping families with autistic children? Awesome. Okay, How many people are helping people who are challenged with aging, with mental decline and things like that? Okay. How many people are helping women navigate hormonal changes and change of life? All right. You see how many lanes we have here? I could keep going. No matter what your passion is about nutrition, we're gonna meet you there and give you the tools to serve the community that you wanna serve. That's our partnership. That's our commitment to you, is to give you the tools that you could use to thrive. So the uncomfortable question is, can you thrive in more than one network marketing company at the same time? Okay? And I'm going to bring up the uncomfortable subject. There's these gurus of network marketing, these experts that make their money having seminars and telling network marketers what the next big trend is and what they should be doing and how they can make more money. And we all know their names, and I'm not going to repeat them because to me, they're a bunch of scamsters. And they're taking advantage of all of you and your desire to do better at network marketing, and they're feeding you what you want to hear. And the line of BS that they've been feeding is that the new paradigm is that you're sovereign, independent entrepreneurs and you can represent 20 different companies just like a store represents 20 different brands. You're in the business of healing. Why should you offer anything that has to do with healing? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if you're everything to everybody, you're nothing to nobody. Okay? And so we don't have any rule that requires that you can't be part of another organization. We don't. But I do know that the people who have succeeded the most at Purium are the ones who have been like Troy Casey, who have been like Ian Farrar, who have been like Melissa Hanson, who have been like Sonia, have been like the people who realize that like this is where they could stay and really feel good about themselves when they go to bed at night. And I've tracked 5 or 6 significant people who have chosen a different path just to see how their choice turned out. And I'll tell you, it didn't turn out so well in the long run. And that's nothing bad about them. I'm just saying it wasn't a good business decision to diversify. And so if you really want to succeed with me as your partner, I'm going to work and Amy's going to work. We're going to work from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed. We're going to work weekends at making a better environment for you to succeed. But it's going to be up to you whether you also, in that partnership, are seeing if you could outdo us. Seeing if you could actually be the one working harder. And if it's like that with both partners, if you've ever been on a 2-pedal bike, the guy in back always stops pedaling, right? They don't see me. The guy in front's going, oh man. Well, partnerships are not supposed to be like that. Now ask Ian, what if you had a partner paddling with you? You'd win every race, wouldn't you? Right? If you had BB back there, boom. The bottom line is that we are better together. That we can do more together when we're truly aligned, when we're paddling in the right direction, when we're rowing to the same rhythm. It's really hard to do that if you got 2 different paddles going 2 different directions, isn't it? You're only going to meet so many people. You're only going to talk to so many prospects. There's only going to be so many lives you're going to be able to change in the time that you have. And I'm inviting all of you to rededicate yourselves passionately to this cause, because you've seen this morning while we're here, why we are here. Okay? And so again, I humbly am inviting you guys to rededicate yourself, to align yourself with Amy and I. Because we're about to really, I mean, you've already seen it. We can see the momentum, we can see it building, and we know that this is our time. So thank you so much. I want to see if Amy has a word or 2 to say, because she's right here. And would you join me up here real quick?
Absolutely.
Help us transition into our next recognition.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's give it up for Dave. Dave.